Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome to the online video class session of Political Science, first semester. So, my dear students, here in this class, I'm going to talk about the historical evolution theory, so which is the part of the second unit. So, there are various kinds of theories about the origin of state we have studied, like the divine origin theory. And in the process of divine origin theory, uh, the state is originated or created by the god. Here the god is sent a representative to to the earth to rule his people. So that is according to the divine origin theory. And another theories we have seen about the social contract theory. So the social contract theory also explained by the three important personalities like Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and J.J. Rousseau. So in the entire social contract theory, the state is the result of a contract between the individuals or people and a person. By the result of a contract, the state was originated. So before uh, to the origin of state, the state uh, situation is different. The human nature is different. The state nature is different. The human nature and the state nature was caused uh, to to become a contract between the individuals. So that is according to uh, the social contract theory. And we have also seen about the various matriarchal theory, patriarchal theory, and force theory. But as for our curriculum framework, here we have only three important theories, like the divine origin theory, the social contract theory, and the historical evolution theory. So today, let us discuss in detail about the historical evolution theory. So the historical evolution theory is different from the above or the previously mentioned theories of origin of state, like the divine origin theory and the social contract theory. It is different. So the various political philosophers, since from the beginning, have the various kinds of hypotheses about the origin of state. But the concepts, for example, if you take the divine origin theory, the theory was discredited or the not accepted by the majority of the people. There is no historical evidence. So that is why it was criticized. And whereas the social contract theory also criticized by the various political philosophers of the modern. And the historical evolution theory is somewhat better than the divine origin theory and as well as the social contract theory. It has its own historical evidence. So it is a scientific theory. So my dear students, today let us discuss about one of the important theory, the historical evolution theory. So here in the historical evolution theory, the state is not a result of a particular person or not a result of a particular uh, organization or not a result of a particular time. It is the evolutionary process by the centuries, by the thousands and lakhs of days. So that is why it is essential to discuss briefly about the historical evolution theory. So, my dear students, I was prepared a PowerPoint presentation for your convenience. So let's get into the PowerPoint presentation. So here the PowerPoint presentation is somewhat helps to understand the concept in a better way. Okay, so let's get into uh, the PowerPoint of historical evolution theory. So my dear students, this is about the the first slide, political science. The the title, the first semester title is the understanding of political theory, and we are discussing about the second unit. Actually, we have completed our syllabus, but some of our students are asked about to explain about the theories of origin of state, particularly the historical evolution theory. So that is why I'm trying to explain in a detailed manner about the historical evolution theory. Okay, my dear friends. So let us discuss the historical evolution theory. Okay, the many political thinkers since from the beginning, from the Aristotle to the present David Easton. So many political thinkers are attempted to explain about the origin of state in various dimensions or in various ways. But all the uh, philosophers have added their own ideas about the origin of state. So when they are explaining about uh, the existence of state, they have followed their own ways. So the political thinkers were compelled or adopted various hypotheses. So some of the philosophers like Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and J.J. Rousseau were stated the state is the result of contract. So that is why it is stated as the social contract theory. And some of the important, the ancient political philosophers are explained about that the state is the result of God, or the state is the creation of God. So there are various kinds of hypotheses or illusions about the origin of state. And among the various hypotheses, some of the hypotheses or statements were identified. So like that, the state was originated by the creation of God. It is one theory, like the divine origin theory. So here, according to the divine origin theory, the state is created by God. We have to keep in mind blindly that according to the divine origin theory, the state is originated or the state is created by the God. That's it. Here, the king is the representative of God, is not one among the people. That is divine origin theory. And whereas the social contract theory is completely different from the divine origin theory. Here, the king is not a representative of God. The king is elected by themselves, one among themselves, by a contract. The individuals are used to come a contract, and they can contract regarding their problems, and they can elect a leader. So this kind of theory is the social contract theory. And whereas the matriarchal and patriarchal theory, here in the matriarchal theory, the mother is head of the family. So almost in the society, all the families headed by the mothers. So by the headed by the mothers, the society is evolved. So it shows the matriarchal theory. And in the patriarchal theory, the father is head of the family. So here mother does not have any play, any role in the growth of family. So the male domination is there in the patriarchal theory. And there is a hypothesis about the force theory. Here, the society or the state is evolved by the force. So here, what happening if you take forest theory is applied in the force theory. The strongest animal is attacks on the weakest animal, and that animal is attacks on the weakest than that particular animal. So like this, it is a chain system. And if it is, we can talk in Telugu, it is machaniti, machanayam. So the fish theory, the big fish is attacks on the small fishes, and the small fishes are attacks then the another small fishes, the another small fishes are attacks then uh, the 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 smallest, then the fishes. So like this, there is a circle. So the origin of state is explained by various dimensions by various political philosophers. But today let us discuss about the historical evolution theory. This is one of the most important theory. Okay, so here the origin of state or historical evolution theory. There are five theories. Importantly, various theories are there, but only identified theories are five theories about the origin of state. What are the five theories? Like the historical evolution theory, the matriarchal theory, the patriarchal theory, the force theory, the social contract theory. Here, the historical evolution theory explains about the state's origin and how the state is the product and how it was grown and how it was grown slowly and steadily from the centuries to centuries, and how it was evolved, and how it was extended over a long period of time, and how ultimately it was shaped as a state, as a geographical territory area. So this the historical theory explains these things, how the state is originated. So my dear students, according to the historical evolution theory, the state is not a handiwork of a god or not the result of a the superior physical force. So it means the state is not created by God. The state is not created by a physical powerful person or a particular force, or it is not a creation of uh, it is not a creation of a mechanical process. It is the it is not the state is a result of the evolutionary process. It is not a result of convention or contract. So here convention means a kind of the contract. The state is not the convention or the result of convention, or it is not a the result of a contract. It is the creation of the evolution. It is the result of the evolution. The evolution is not a process of single day, or it is the evolution is not activity of a single day or a couple of days. It is the process of a long and long time, thousands and lakhs of days or years, months. So like this, the historical evolution theory is not created by a particular person in a single day or a single week. It is the process of evolution from the centuries to centuries. Okay? And it is not the physical force of a particular person, me and you, or someone else. It is the process of evolution. And here, uh, another important thing is that the state is not an artificial mechanical creation. For example, if you take a computer, or if you take a bus, or if you take a vehicle, it is a mechanical creation, artificial mechanical creation. If we add a car, some kinds of uh, tools or parts like tires, steering, the cover, the seats. If we add these all parts, it become a assembled car. If you want to prepare a computer, we need some parts like monitor, CPU, keyboard, mouse. But state is not like that. It is not a mechanical creation, but it is an institutional natural growth of the historical evolutionary process. So that is why Professor Garner was stated that the state is the institutional natural growth. The state is an institutional natural growth by the centuries of centuries. So it is not a single day activities, or it is not a single person activities, or it is not a single factor creativity. It is the evolutionary process. And there are a number of factors were played an important role in the evolutionary process. So it is not a single factor process. It is the number of factors which are played an important role in the evolutionary process. Okay, so what are the important factors which are played an important role in the historical evolution theory of origin of state? Okay, so the factors, if you discuss about the detail about the factors, the kinship. The kinship is nothing but the blood relationship of an individuals, and the religion, which is playing a predominant role in the society, and the wars between the one state and another state, and the economic activities of the individuals, like earning the property or owning the property or defending or protecting the property, and finally the political consciousness. So these are the factors are played an important role in the historical evolution of process, historical evolution of the origin of state. Okay, so my dear students, here you have to keep in mind, according to the historical uh, evolutionary theory of origin of state, the state is not created by a particular person. The state is not created by a particular day, or it is not created by a particular force. It is the evolutionary process. Okay, so let us discuss one by one the factors which are played an important role in the uh, origin of state, about the historical origin of state. So here, the kinship. The kinship is the most important, and the most important blood relationship. So here, in the kinship, the concept of marriage is plays an important role. So what is marriage? Marriage is nothing but a contract between male and female, or a sexual relationship between, a legal sexual relationship between male and female. So these are the activities, are the roots of the kinship. That is why the kinship is become the first strongest bond among the unity of an individuals. Actually, who am I? I am son of particular person. Who is he? He is son of particular person. So here the kinship is plays an important role in the bond of the family structure. And the family constitute the first link of the process of the evolution of the state, because the kinship is the root to the evolutionary process. And with that the kinship, the families are expand, and the expansion families arose the new families, and the new families again expand the multiplications. For example, my grandfather was had four sons, five sons, and that five sons again produced again another sons. So like this, the clan, or the group is expanding one generation to another generation. So like this, the kinship is root to expand the families, and this kind of process is root to the historical evolution theory of origin of state. Here, the kinship was the only factor which bound the people together. So if you take even today, if anything comes, all the individuals become unite. So based on the parameters, if it is an issue of caste, all the particular caste people become unite. And if it is a issue of religion, all that particular religions people tries to unite. So if it is a matter of gender, all the women communities tries to unite. So like this, here the kinship is the only factor which is bound the people together in the historical evolution process of a state. And the blood relationship, or the blood bond, or the sonship, changed to imperceptibility into the social bond of the wider brotherhoodness. So like this, the state expands, the society expands. So here, a family become the society, and the societies become the state. So here, the society is nothing but a group of people, the state is nothing but different kinds of societies. So, like this, in the origin of state, the kinship is playing a predominant role. And here, in the kinship, the authority of the father passes to the power of the chief ones, more under the uh, ages of kinship, new from arises which transcended to it. For example, my father is taken authority from his father, and from my father I have taken authority to my father as the elder son of my father. So like this, the authority has been changing from one person to another person, so based on the generation. So in the kinship process, this kind of authority has been takes place change. And here the concept of kinship creates the society, and the society is at length create the state. So that is why I am stating that the society is nothing but a group of people, and the state is nothing but different kinds of societies. So my dear students, here in the historical evolution process of a state, the kinship is the key factor, or most important, the fundamental factor of the origin of state of the historical evolution process, or historical evolution theory. And the second concept, or the second factor of the historical evolution theory of origin of state is the religion. Here, the religion is also provided the bond of unity in early societies. Not only early society, even today, uh, there is a kind of unity with the name of the religion. If something is happened to the Hindus, all the nationwide Hindus become unity. If something happened to the Muslims, if Muslim heads are given any kind of statement, almost all the Muslims become unite. So here, the religion is also playing an important role in the process of historical evolution, a theory of origin of state. So here, the worship of common ancestors and the common gods that created a sense of social solidarity. For example, my father is worshipped a particular person. I used to worship and I used to follow my father. And nowadays, by the political consciousness or social consciousness, the that the religious transformation has taken place. That kind of flexibility as given and by the Indian Constitution, according to the fundamental rights of the right of religion. But in the early days, the number of forces are united by the religion, and unity was the essential for the creation of state. So in the early days, the religion is played an important role to evolve the society. Okay, if we take present scenario, there are various kinds of religions in India, like Hindus, Muslims, Christian, Sikhs, Buddhists. Okay, so like this, even today there are the various religious practices or uh, affairs to faith in uh, the uniting the people in the various dimensions. So here we can say one thing, that religion is one of the most important factor to keep the people as unite, and it is also one of the most important factor which is playing an important role in the process of historical evolution of the origin of state. Okay, and the third factor is force. Here, force also played an important role in the evolution of the state, because the state was the use of physical force that was responsible for the growth of the kingdoms and empires. Is it? So if we take any historical evidences in the history, the kings are used to do wars with their neighbor states. So by this process, the state is evoluted, the state is expanded. So if you take any state, like the any rulers like Kakatiyas, Shatavahanas, Pallavas, so like this, n number of princely states were there in those days, and they used to do wars one among themselves. And there is the best example of the wars between the states about the historical evolution of the origin of state. And another important factor is the having property. So here the property and its defense is played an important role in the evolution of the state of origin of state. So particularly among the various people of a particular society, they they have their own properties. If you take nomads, the nomads doesn't have any kind of properties. They used to live in a particular time in the particular period, and they used to live that particular area. Okay, so like this, there are various kinds of the vagabonds and the nomads. For example, if you take tribal communities, in the tribal communities, the nomadism is general, quite common in the tribal communities. So the nomadism is nothing but it is a it is a, a kind of activity. So that is why Professor Lasky has referred to necessity of acquiring property by the members of a society and protecting the property acquired with reference to the population mentioned above. So here, according to the Professor Lasky, he stated that each and every individual has to be acquiring property, and that acquiring property has to be protected by themselves with the support of state. So in this process of protecting their properties, or in the process of protecting their properties or acquiring their properties, the state has evolved. And this kind of activity led the man making of adjustments in the social system, and uh, it was build a kind of relationship between the members of a different groups within the society. And this needs the protect property ultimately compelled by the ancestor people to establish the state. So here the state is established to protect the individual's property and the to avail acquiring the property of an individual. So this is one of the important factor behind the origin of state of historical evolution theory. And finally, the political consciousness is one of the most important factor in the historical evolution theory of origin of state. So here, this is the most important factor. When the people are settled down in a definite territory or a particular area, in pursuit of their substances and their desires to secure it from the encroachment by others. If a particular group is settled in a particular area, what they used to try, they used to protect their area, and they used to protect the other encroachments about themselves. So these kind of activities, or this kind of consciousness is the root to the origin of state according to the historical evolution theory. And this need for regulating the things and persons to felt immensely, and this is the essence of political consciousness among the people. So here what I'm trying to say is that the political consciousness is one of the most important factor to establish or to origin the state. The political consciousness is not come to the individuals in a single activity or in a single day or with a single incident. It is a process. If their fathers is share their experience with their children used to follow their fathers, and in the second generation or in the next generation, these the present fathers used to teach some kind of activities or some kind of orthodoxies or some kind of tradition to their next generation. So like this, it is the historical process. So that is why the political consciousness is one of the most important factor to the origin of state of the historical evolution theory. And finally, I am going to conclude this session. So, my dear students, here the most important issue we discussed that the historical evolution theory is not created by a someone person, or it is not created by a single factor. It is the process of the historical process from the centuries to centuries. It is the activities of the various factors, the combined organism. So that is why it is follows that the many factors helped in the growth of state. Not only the single factor, it has many factors are helped in the process of the evolution of the origin of state. And no single factor is played an important role, or no single person is played a responsible position to the origin of state, like the divine origin theory. So in the process of divine origin theory, only single person, God, is playing an important role in the origin of state. He was the created a representative and sent to the earth to rule his people. So there, the single factor God is played an important role. But whereas in the historical evolution theory, the many factors are played an important role from the centuries to centuries. And this is about the historical evolution theory, my dear students. Uh, if you have any doubts, so please raise anytime to my personal number. So here I am going to wind up the session, my dear students. So bye, take care.